Hi, welcome to Talk Back Live, a show that gets you involved in live conversation and sports with Brian Camp on Sports Update, bringing you the latest developments in today's world of sports. And now here's your host, Frank Allan.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and a pleasant night to each and every one of you in your different time zones around the world and across the country. Here we are again, right here on the East Coast. It's Thursday, and it's 8 p.m. here. It's 5 p.m. on the West Coast. It's Friday morning. Well, it's just a stroke of midnight because they turned their clocks back out in London town. So it's midnight over there. And of course, it's 9 a.m. still in Tokyo, Japan. Hi, everybody. My name is Frank Allan, and welcome to another edition of Talk Back Live, a program where we get together each week and we indulge in conversation. We're coming to you live from New York City because that's where we originate. And let me tell you about the show for those of you who are here for the very first time. We get together each week at this time, whatever your time zone is right now, as you look at your clock, that's where we come on, and that's the time we're on each week, wherever you are. And we engage in conversation. Now, what we do, of course, me being the host of the show, I am going to throw out conversation, get the ball rolling. And of course, you can change that too if you want to say something in particular. We talk about anything on this show. Absolutely anything, but we keep it clean in the meantime. We do it in an adult manner. However, you can get involved in it. All you have to do is let your fingers do the walking. I've heard that phrase many years ago. Telephone company. Anyway, you type in whatever you want to talk about. I'll see you right there from the big screen. I will entertain your thoughts, your suggestions, and ideas. And of course, you have any questions and you just want to join in and just be nice and say hello. We really would appreciate that. Now, we're going to be here, as I said, for a whole full hour. And for those of you who are been with us from the beginning, well, you already know the protocol, so we don't have to talk too much about that. We want to let you know that we're coming from 3 different places right now. You can watch us from Facebook. We're on Facebook Live. We're on YouTube and Instagram Live as well. And those of you who are watching us on Facebook, we ask you, please, if you will, to tag all of your friends. Tag them. Tag this show to them. You can do that. You didn't know that, right? You can tag this show to them. They'll see the notification as it comes up if they're online. They'll probably want to be curious and find out what it's all about. They'll come in, and if they like what they hear, they like what they see, they can become a regular just like you. Those of you who are watching us on YouTube, we suggest that you subscribe to our YouTube channel. All you have to do is press that red button where it says subscribe. Doesn't cost you anything, no money, no nothing. You don't have to have a union card or any kind of ID or anything like that. Just press that and you're in, because that will allow you to each week when we come on live, or if we so much as post a video on our channel, you will get notification to see where it's at. And all you have to do is just click on and you'll follow it. It'll take you right there. And those of you who are watching us on Instagram, just follow us. We're right here, and we'd like to say hello to each and every one of you. Now, some of you are right now sitting idle, particularly you guys on Facebook, and that's okay. Because a lot of people don't like to indulge in conversation live. They just want to enjoy the show, and that's okay too. And we hope that you stay with us for the full hour. But whatever time you can spend with us, we really would appreciate that. And I'm just hoping it's the duration of the show. And so there you go. Now, later on in the program, we are going to do our regular thing. All right. We have a regular thing in conjunction to talking to you and just kicking it around. We have sports coming up not too far away in this half hour, as a matter of fact, minutes from now. Brian Camp will link up with us from Charlotte, North Carolina. You'll get to see him. And he will be here bringing us the latest developments in today's world of sports on Sports Update. We're in the midst of the World Series right now. And as we speak, Philadelphia and Houston are getting started with the game. They're tied up in the series now, 2 games apiece, but Brian will tell you more about that in detail when he comes in. And later on also in the program, we have This Day in History. We have a lot of information on what happened on this day in history that's coming along. And before the show is even over, we'll give you our movies, my picks of the week, as I bring them to you. Movies, classic movies, Turner Classic Movies, and we'll tell you more about that. That's all happening. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us. Now, remember that All of the opinions and the views that are expressed on this show, Talkback Live, does not necessarily reflect the view or the opinion of the people from Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Zoom, and any other broadcast facility. So we got all of that out of the way. We're so glad to have you aboard with us. And stay tuned because there's a lot of things happening. Well, here we are, a brand new month. Here we are, a brand new month. How do you like that? The third day of November, all right? We told you it's a brand new month and time is going real fast. And geez, you know, we're just waiting around for Thanksgiving. We're just about what, 3 weeks away from Thanksgiving. And I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys will have family and friends over, you know, around the dinner table, particularly family, and then you're going to argue politics. And then the next thing you know, I hope you have a peaceful one this year, whatever it is. Now, Tom Turkey is trying to avoid all of that, but somehow or another, they seem to catch him anyway. But you know, Thanksgiving, remember, keep in mind what Thanksgiving is really all about. It's not about the turkey and the cranberry sauce and the eggnog and all of those marvelous things that you guys like. It's like really giving thanks, you know. And Thanksgiving, basically, when you look at it, it's an event that happens every day. Every day you wake up, it's like you got to give thanks. You know, you're waking up. That's the first thing you thank God for, right? Anyway, I thank God for you guys for being around with us. And I said earlier that London turned their clocks back 1 hour. I just said that earlier, right? All right, it's our turn now. So I want to remind you guys when the weekend is coming up and it's coming up fast. This weekend, as a matter of fact, Sunday at 2 a.m., Saturday night, Sunday morning, 2 a.m., you can turn your clocks back 1 hour. Now, I'm granting you 1 hour because that means you get 1 hour more of sleep, 1 hour more of partying, 1 hour more of whatever. You know, you get 1 more hour more. So make sure you set your clocks back 1 hour, because if you don't, that means you're going to, if you have to be somewhere the following day or even Monday, if you don't set it back, you're going to arrive there 1 hour earlier, which is not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing, you know. But anyway, set your clocks back 1 hour, and we're looking forward to the winter near. When they set the clocks back, now you can look forward to the cold weather that's coming up. Now, here in New York today, it's been like really mild out there. You know, it was like springtime almost, you know, not too warm, but it was pretty nice. Now, tomorrow, the rest of the weekend, the temperatures say they're going to go up, and it's going to be like in the 70s, I guess somewhere to the lower to mid 70s. That's kind of warm. That weather frightens me because it tells me, geez, you know what? How should I dress? Should I dress a little warmer? Should I dress a little light? You know, and for the past few days when we were having the more chilly weather, you know, we're dressing up. We have our coats and everything. Now it's getting warmer. Do you take those coats off? I wouldn't try it. I would try to bear it. You know, it just, you know, use your common sense when it comes to this weather, because you could be easily thrown off and you could easily get sick, catching cold. And speaking of getting sick and catching colds, you have the flu season. The flu season, right? You want to try to avoid that. If you haven't had your flu shots yet, please get your flu shots before you get the flu. All right, because it won't make any sense if you got the flu shot after you got the flu. So make sure you get the flu shots while you're in good health, and at the same time, make sure you get your COVID shots. Make sure you keep up with all of those things that are necessary to keep you going, to keep you strong, and to keep you healthy. That's what we recommend. And so if you have any questions on that, we can always talk about that too. Okay, now we're just about 5 days away. 5 days away from that glorious day, that marvelous day, that election day. And you know what that means? You ought to get out there and exercise your right to vote. Now, it's very important, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not kidding here. It's very important that you go out and vote. You can go out and vote tomorrow because there are early votings Ours started here in New York last Saturday. Early voting started last Saturday here in New York. People are voting now. I see people walking around in the streets with their sticker on their lapel saying, I voted, you know, and you want to be one of those people to do it. Now, if you can't get out and vote early, make sure you got that chance on election day, which is Tuesday, the 8th of November. That's coming right up, right after the weekend appears, or right after the weekend is over, and the new week appears Tuesday, the 8th. That's your final day where you can get out there and vote. And it's very important because we know it's a hard thing to realize, you know, what we're going through right now, you know, and so you want to make sure that you want to put the right people into office. And remember too, when you vote for the sake of the country and not for the sake of the party. All right, that's secondary. The party is secondary. The country is first. And you want to make sure that you put whoever you put in office do the good job. You want to put someone there with brains in their head. You want to put people in there who are not going to be mudslinging just to try to overturn other people or damage their campaigns. You want to talk to people who will not use conspiracy theories, things like that. We had enough of that. People are tired of that. So please, please make sure you exercise your right to vote and make sure that you vote for the right people, all right? And if you don't know where to go to vote to your favorite polling place or your polling place, all you have to do is call your local Board of Elections. They have a telephone number. You can find them in your local area. You can call them and find out. And the smart thing to do before any time you vote, you also want to call them like way in advance to make sure that your status, your voting status is intact. You know, even though you know it is, but you want to make sure and you want to hear from them because they can look it up. You tell them your name. And I just want to know if my registration is still intact so I can go out and vote. And if it is, then you have nothing to worry about. And then use it. Go out there and exercise it. Ladies and gentlemen, you know something, we celebrate so many great things. And I am proud to say that this month, we are celebrating Native American Heritage Month now. Oh yes, we're celebrating that now. That happened, it just started the first day of November, and all week, all month, we're celebrating Native American Heritage Month. I am proud to talk about that, you know, having the background of a Native American. There are things to talk about. Now, I know on Facebook, and I also like these different Native American Facebook pages. They have a few of them on there, and I like whatever pops up that I see. I like them because I learn more, I talk more, and I think we ought to learn more and talk more about it too, because you have to remember, these are the people that were here before us, all right? I don't want to get too political about this, but like it or not, this is the way it is. So we celebrate this month, and it's a fruitful month. It's a lovely month. And like, I love to, whenever I can, make sure that I mention all of the great celebrations that come on. We already had Hispanic Heritage Month already. We talked about that, and that's come and gone. And whatever things that we can talk about, whatever positive things that we could discuss on this program, we would love to do that. And so that's the way it is. And we're looking forward to seeing more of what's happening on the Native American front. We would like to try somehow before it's all over to have a guest and talk about that. And I'm going to be working on that, by the way, and see if we can do that too at some point before it's all over. But, you know, me personally, I celebrate it all the time. You know, my great-grandmother was Cherokee, full-blooded Cherokee. And I am proud to say that I'm glad that I have that part of the blood inside me. So there you go. It's Native American Heritage Month, and we're celebrating it here. If you're just joining us, ladies and gentlemen, the name of the show is called Talk Back Live. And of course, if you're just joining us, we want to say hi to you guys. And thank you for joining us. And if you're here for the very first time, don't make it your last time. make it your weekly habit. We're on here each week. We never miss a week. And we're on here. And of course, we engage you in conversation. If you have anything to say in particular, we of course will also love you to mention if you even what we talked about the Native American Heritage Month. We talked about that. If you want to put some input into that too, we would glad to oblige, and we would love to hear from you. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's keep that in mind. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, as I promised you, each week, as you already know, we link up and we get together with Brian Camp. We link up, and he's coming to us from Charlotte, North Carolina, and he has what we call Sports Update, and he's here to bring you the latest developments in today's world of sports. Brian, we had warm temperatures here in New York. Now, maybe we got it from you. I don't know. I usually check in with you to see what your weather is, and that kind of gives me an idea of what my weather is going to be like, because your weather always become my weather. And
Well, it's 61 degrees right now. So I don't know what the rest of the country, I know this is typical North Carolina, Charlotte, North Carolina weather. And, it gets cold and cool in the morning, but then within an hour or two, like roughly around 10 o'clock, that's when it warms up. I mean, when it warms up fast. So it's 61 degrees. I'm glad New York is having some great weather. I've been watching the news broadcast and the weather forecast for the entire East Coast. I know that you're going to have a beautiful weekend. There's supposed to be warm weather. And for the marathon, too. We're going to have a marathon this weekend. So here's a notice for everybody in New York City. If you don't have to go nowhere Sunday, stay home. Stay home. Traffic in all the 5 boroughs is going to be congested.
you don't have to tell me twice. You don't have to tell me twice. I remember one time I got wrapped up in a marathon. I was driving, and there was no place I can drive, and I had to wait there. I had to wait there for a couple of hours, and wherever my destination was, I never made it. And wow. I said to myself, I will never go out there again. I love when they come and have fun. They have the marathon. That's a good thing. It's a healthy thing, and you can watch it on TV. I'll watch it on TV before I even go out there in the public.
Well, 2 things I don't like about when it comes to marathons and parades. Those are the 2 worst things, especially if you need to go across it. Not so much in Manhattan, but even in Brooklyn, when you have the Labor Day, West Indian Day parade, and you're stuck on Eastern Parkway. It takes you a couple of anywhere between 15 minutes just to get across Eastern Parkway, and that could be a madhouse. But the marathon I think it's 26 miles. It's going to cover all 5 boroughs, and it's going to be very interesting. Just stay home if you don't have to.
For the benefit of the people who don't live in New York, it's only New York. You don't have to worry about it.
Only New York, yes. But we feel for you. But good evening to you and to everybody out there that's tuning in to Talk Back Live here. And, we're just having a wonderful evening. Like I just said, 61 degrees. It's partly cloudy, and it's very mild temperatures. And looking forward to having a good weekend. Lots of sports that's on. All four major sports will be on this weekend. Basketball, baseball, football, and hockey. Those are the 4 major sports in North America that will be on. In the NBA, Kyrie Irving will make a donation to the anti-hate organizations and said he opposes hatred and oppression. Why, you ask? But NBA Commissioner Adam Silver doesn't think it's enough. Irving has been under fire for posting on his own personal page, Instagram or Twitter, a link on social media to a movie and book that contained anti-Semitic tropes directed towards the Jewish people. And he's been under fire. He's been a person that's been under fire not only for this, but for a lot of things, going back to the pandemic. This is the same person that did not want to take the shot. This is the same person that took time off because of the January 6th attack on the Capitol. So he takes off whenever he feels like it. He does his own thing. He toots his own horn. And now the Brooklyn Nets and Irving will each donate $500,000 to the anti-hate organization. And this just came in just before the show started. He will be suspended for 5 games by Commissioner Adam Silver. So there you have it. If you could just, the thing is with this, you could get on the owners for making racial comment or inappropriate sexual behavior to your workers. Now it's time for the players to get hit now. You do things, you say things, you have a great union, and you come up with it. Don't allow this one incident deter you away from the NBA. It's just that there's only like a few people that just don't get it, and he just stepped overboard, and this is where we're at. So hopefully he could turn the corner. He has yet and will not, it seems like, offer no apology. And when you say this, and the commissioner is Jewish himself, now you're asking for trouble. We're not saying that he doesn't have a right to believe what he wants to believe, but when you attack other ethnic groups and have not done your research on certain things, this is what happens. So that's where we stand. In the NFL, Washington Commanders co-owners Daniel and Tanya Snyder announced that they are they're hiring Bank of America Securities to explore potential transactions involving the team. They did not specify what or whose transactions might be, whether it was the sale of the team or they were pursuing minority investors. Now, Congress continues to investigate Dan Snyder for the workplace culture created during his ownership of, like I said, even in football, sexual behavior, not appropriate, some racist remarks. This man has been under fire for so long, and now he's we don't know what he's going to do. Time will tell. Major League Baseball, Game 5. A home run was just hit, as we just talked. The game is tied up 1-1 in Game 5 of the World Series. Series is tied up 2-2. So I'm giving you a live update. The Philadelphia Phillies just tied up the unscored. They're in the bottom of the first inning, and with 2 outs, and it's going to be an interesting final 2 out of 3. So, but let me give you the schedule for Game 6. There will be a Game 6. Game 6 will be Saturday. Tomorrow's a travel day, so they're going to get on the plane and go hop on down to Houston. Phillies will be at the Astros. That's at 8 o'clock at Fox. Game 7, if necessary, will be on Sunday in Houston again at 8 p.m. on Fox. And Game 1 of the World Series opener drew 11.68 million viewers on Fox, Fox Deportes, and Fox Sports streaming app. This is the highest viewership for Game 1 since 2019. So baseball is trying to get back their fans. They've taken a hit. They have not been doing well with the PEDs and so many other stuff that's going on. This day in sports, November 3rd. This day in November 3rd, Ty Cobb resigns as Detroit Tiger manager, replacing George Moriarty, who is the first to be a player, an umpire, a scout, and manager. Yes. So congratulations to him. That was back in 1926. 1980, after acquiring the Major League Baseball Oakland A's, Walter Haas appoints himself as CEO and wins the 1989 World Series. CEO means Chief Executive Officer. Of something you don't know what a CEO is. 1989, Lou Piniella, remember him? Former New York Yankee is named manager of the Cincinnati Reds, replacing Pete Rose, who was banned for life for gambling on Major League Baseball games. We remember that too as well. 1990, Atlanta Hawks center Moses Malone sets an NBA record for free throws made in a career passing the big O, Oscar Robertson, at 7,694. And in 1996, San Francisco 49er wide receiver Jerry Rice becomes the first player in NFL history to reach 1,000 receptions. Reception means catching the ball as when the quarterback throws to you, or whoever is an eligible passer and they catches the ball, who is the wide receiver. Birthdays today. In 1918, Hall of Famer Bob Feller was born in Van Meter, Iowa. 1949, boxing great Larry Holmes was born in Cuthbert, Georgia. 1951, Dwight Evans, Boston Red Sox outfielder, was born in Santa Monica, California. 1955, Phil Simms, NFL quarterback great, was born in Springfield, Kentucky. And in 1987, Colin Kaepernick, NFL quarterback, was born in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And ladies and gentlemen, that is sports.
Oh boy, everybody's celebrating birthdays. You know, I want to get back to you were talking about that when he made that those remarks, those anti-Semitic remarks. What is? I don't understand what's going on with this whole thing. Everybody is making these remarks, and you know, you figure you learn from the next person who come out who's under fire. And then you figure you learn from that and say, well, I'm not going to go there. I'm not going to talk about that, you know, regardless of what I think. And then it just keeps going. Every day it just keeps going.
The problem is when they make these remarks, they don't do their research to know the history of what they're talking about. And this is the thing. He's going by, I didn't see the movie. It has something to do with Adolf Hitler in the movie. We all know what kind of person he was. And he's claiming that he wasn't promoting it. But when you come on social media and you mention it, you are promoting it. Mm. And that's the thing. So these guys, they don't think. They don't do the history. And this is where we are. You know, Kyrie Irving is a trouble man. He say things without thinking. I don't see none of his players come to his aid, but it's just been an ongoing thing with him.
If I didn't know any better, I would think Hitler was still alive.
Yeah.
You know, in a way, he may not be physically here, but he's here. You know, if you look back, he's here. Look at you. You look in some of these politicians who are running for government now. That's why I said earlier, we got to get out and vote.
Yeah.
Keep these people at bay, because they don't know what they do. They have no idea what they're talking about. They have no idea what they're doing. You know, and speaking of history, I mentioned early before the show, before you came in, that we're celebrating Native American Heritage Month. Mm-hmm. But it started the first day of November. And of course, that's taking a hit. We seem to forget about that all of us are from someplace. Every one of us are from someplace.
Yeah.
And they just drove those people right off. And when you tell them about it, they insist that, yeah, we built this country. You may have helped. We all helped build the country.
We all helped. Every ethnic group feel that they did more than the other.
Yeah. And we
to
did
build the country.
Yeah. I mean, think about it. I mean, who built the Capitol building? Who built that White House? Think about that. You know?
African Americans. Yeah. Yeah.
Somebody's saying, oh, no, they didn't. They didn't do that. We built that.
Yeah, I know. But, you know, it's to each his own. You know, everybody got their own opinion.
Yeah.
I used to argue. I stopped arguing. It's just, I want to add on years to my life. And I'm not stressing it out. As long as you know your history,
yeah,
what other ethnic group that you have. I don't know nothing about the Irish or the Italians or the Christopher Columbus thing. I don't know anything about that. That's, you know, even though I love history and I do study other ethnic groups where I like to learn more about them.
I do too.
you know, but I don't speak the language.
Right.
You know, I just, if I'm going to say something, I'm going to look it up first
Yeah.
before I speak. Yeah.
And I always ask questions from people of another culture. I always ask questions, you know, how is this? How does this happen? When did this happen? I always ask questions because I want to know. I'm interested, and hopefully they will ask me, you know, about my heritage. And I think, you know, this is what America is all about. We exchange ideas, and instead of saying, oh, you know, this group of people belong here, that group of people belong there. And then you want to say, let's make America great again? How, well,
nobody really owns or could say that they claim the United States except for the Native Americans.
Yeah.
They are the true Americans.
Yeah.
They were here first. Unfortunately, their land was taken away. When Andrew Jackson, I'm just giving you a little history. Andrew Jackson signed the treaty. They're saying that you got to get off and live up in the reservation. There's more to it. I'm just paraphrasing what he's saying and everything. So when I look at the $20 bill and I see Andrew Jackson, I look at it differently.
Yeah.
I'll keep it in my pocket.
Yeah.
But when I think of him, I say, well,
you know, they talked about putting Harriet Tubman on that $20 bill.
The response that I've heard from other ethnic groups was like, why they're doing this? I just turn it off. Just turn it off.
Just let it go. Just let it go.
Yeah.
It's not gonna get you anywhere to argue anyway. And like you say, you want to stay in the best of health as long as you can.
That's it. I already took my flu shot.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah, a little sore.
Okay. Well, that's what's going to happen. You get sore for a couple of days, but it's well worth it.
And I'm going to take my third booster. And after that, I'm going to take the shingles. My doctor gave me instructions of when to take it, and that's what I'm going to do. I got to listen to the expert. That's why they went to medical school, and so I'm going to listen to what they say.
Sometimes the doctors tell you things you don't want to hear. You know, don't eat this, don't drink that. You know, it's like, come on, why don't you just kill me? You're supposed to have bedside manner. Say, hey, it's going to be all right. Eat as much ice cream as you want. No, I wouldn't do that either. But you get the idea. We just have to cut down, especially when you get older. You have to cut down on a lot of things. You can't do the things that you did when you were younger, because when you were younger, you eat and drank as much as you want, and nobody cared. Because back then, you would say, I thought I was going to live forever. I'm invincible. I'm not going to die. I'm going to be here forever.
Yeah, that's right.
Newsflash.
Yeah.
Okay, Brian, we'll catch you back. We'll catch you back here tomorrow then.
Yeah, I'm going to let you know about tomorrow. It's 50-50, but if not, I'm going to send stuff over, but I still might be able to do it. I'll have to let you know during the time. Might be at the last minute and everything.
Well, can you make it at the last, before the last minute?
I'll do my best. You know me, I will do my best.
Go on the air. Just do what you have to do. That's all. All right.
All right, then.
Okay, I'll catch you later.
Take care.
That's Brian Kemp, ladies and gentlemen, with the latest developments in the day's world of sports on Sports Update. He's here every Thursday and possibly tomorrow. He'll start the 2020 feature, and we'll let you know about that too. Maybe he has to go on a little earlier. We'll have to see about that. Nevertheless, it's the 2020 feature, Brian, with the latest developments in today's world of sports. If he's not here, he'll send the information. We'll do it. And also the second part of the 2020 feature, DJ Pete will be here doing entertainment news and reciting all of those birthdays of all of the people who were born or who lived right through that on that day and within that week. So that's all coming up. We thank you so much for being along with us. And thank you, because you're watching Talkback Live. And just in case you're just joining us this very minute, well, you missed sports. You don't want to miss anything. All right. So just make it your habit to come back here early so you can catch everything. But, you guys who are watching us on Instagram, and you only get to hear Brian. The rest of everyone else get to see him while he's doing his sports. Like Facebook and Instagram and YouTube, I'm sorry, they get to see him. And I'm sorry, but Meta didn't perfect that feature just yet. I don't know if they're going to do it, but we're not designed to put them on the air that way. And we could only do it through Facebook, and we could do it through YouTube. So if anytime, or if you don't care, then you can continue to watch on Instagram. But if you want to get a chance to meet Brian and talk to him too, you can do that. And you can talk to him even on Instagram. And what we do is that for that, I would have to see what you're saying to him, and then I relay it to him. See, that's how it works. I could see you, but he can't. But he could see people on Facebook, so there you go. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we thank you again for being along with us, and we're going to be here to the top of the hour. And of course, it's that time right now. It's that time. It's this day in history. So let's get started. On this day in history in 1783, George Washington, that's way back there. I don't even remember that. George Washington orders Continental Army disband. On this day in history, back in 1796, John Adams was elected second president of the United States. Anyone out there remember that? On this day in history in 1868, Republican Ulysses S. Grant wins U.S. presidential election over Democrat Horatio Seymour. On this day in history in 1900, the first U.S. automobile show opens at Madison Square Garden in New York City. On this day in history in 1956, the film The Wizard of Oz was televised for the first time, hosted by Burt Lair and 10-year-old Liza Minnelli as the finale of the four-star Jubilee. And that was the four-star Jubilee series on CBS TV. On this day in history in 1957, the Soviet Union launches Sputnik 2 with a space dog aboard. That was the first animal in space. Back in 1964, Lyndon B. Johnson is elected president of the United States by a landslide, with Hubert Humphrey as his vice president, defeating Republican candidate Barry Goldwater. Back in 1970, US President Richard Nixon, and I just want to make this perfectly clear, Richard Nixon promises gradual troop removal from Vietnam. Back in 1975, Good Morning America premieres on ABC with David Hartman and Nancy Dussault. Back in 1978, the first broadcast of Different Strokes aired on NBC TV. Back in 1983, Jesse Jackson launches his first campaign for presidency. In 1983, the Nashville Network begins broadcasting on cable TV. 1988, talk show host Geraldo Rivera's nose was broken as Roy Ennis brawls with skinheads on a TV taping. In 1992, I Will Always Love You, the single done by Whitney Houston, and it also made Billboard Song of the Year in 1993. 1997, British TV comedy I'm Alan Partridge, starring Stephen Coogan, premieres on BBC Two. In 1997, California law ends affirmative action. In 1998, Shakespeare in Love, directed by John Madden and stars Gwyneth Paltrow and Joseph Feeney, that premieres in New York City. It made the Best Picture for 1999. In 2009, the 23rd Soul Train Music Awards, they go to Michael Jackson, Charlie Wilson, and Chaka Khan. And in 2014, New York's 104-story One World Trade Center officially opens 13 years after the September 11th attack. Actor Charles Bronson was born on this day in 1921 in Airfield, Pennsylvania. He was 81 years old when he passed away August 30th, 2003. He died from pneumonia. And political politician Michael Dukakis was born on this day in 1933 in Brookline, Massachusetts. Happy birthday to you. He's 89 years old today. In 1948, Lulu, you remember her from To Sir With Love. She also sang the theme song, and she's also a television personality. She was born in Glasgow, Scotland, and she's 74 years old today. 1949, actor Mike Evans, who played Lionel on All in the Family. And of course, the Jeffersons too. He was born in Salisbury, North Carolina. He passed away 2006. In 1953, comedian Dennis Miller was born in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. He's 69 years old today. Kendall Jenner from the show Keeping Up with the Kardashians. She was born on this day in 1995 in Los Angeles, California. Happy birthday. She's 27 years old today. In 1986, jazz saxophonist Eddie Lockjaw Davis dies of cancer at the age of 65. Actress Mary Martin, she's the mother of Larry Hagman, who played on Dallas. Mary Martin died on this day in 1990 at the age of 76 from cancer. She was born December 1st, 1913, and she was born in Weatherford, Texas. And finally, the year 2016, singer Kay Starr, who had the big hit back then called Wheel of Fortune, she died at the age of 94. And that's this day in history. And those of you who know anything that I didn't mention and you get a whiff of it, please pass it along. I will see you. I will give you credit for that, right? Of course. And of course, I will be glad to convey it to other people who are watching. And speaking of watching, you're watching Talk Back Live. Thank you so much for being along with us. We just have about a few minutes into the show right now, just a few minutes into the show. You know, a lot of people were talking to me, and if you were watching the coffee hour, particularly last Friday, watching the coffee hour, and this show too, I mentioned the fact that Jerry Lee Lewis passed away. Now, at that particular point, that news was not true. At that particular point, it was not true. And when that was released, TMZ released that. And then they retracted the story. They found out it wasn't true. So everybody was saying, oh, gee, you know, that's a load off, you know. But last Friday, after I got off the air on the coffee hour, the news came down once again, and I got it because I always, you know, it's good with these cell phones, right? I always get the breaking news. The breaking news pop up. I love to get that. I set my phone so whenever breaking news come in, notifications come up, I set it for, it's okay to, you know, give me notification from CNN or other news bureaus so I could see what's going on. And that popped up. And it kind of confused me. He said, Jerry Lee Lewis died. And I said, okay, I'm not going to say anything about that because I just got off the air saying it wasn't true. And it was confirmed by CNN. When you watch CNN or any other news bureau that's like really more into what they're doing and they're more reliable, they have reliable sources, you kind of take it as gospel. So when I heard about it, I kind of said, okay, you know what? I'm not feeling this. That's what the young kids say today. I'm not feeling this. I don't like this idea, you know, because I just got off the air and I just mentioned the fact that it wasn't true because people were putting it on all of social media. And I'm thinking, okay, it's you know, and when these news bureaus came out, I took it as gospel. I said, okay, I'm not going to say any more about it. I just didn't know how to handle it. Now, you know, when you get a story that's not true, and then finally, you know, later on it comes out, someone knew something, something happened. How did that news get out in the first place? If it weren't true in the first place, or is this coincidental? You know, I mean, I just didn't know what to say. I was on the phone with DJ Pete early this afternoon. We were talking, as we do, because I talked to DJ Pete on the phone, talked to Brian on the phone, we talked about the show or whatever, you know, And he did ask me, he says, did you mention, or do you mention? And I said, you know what? I kind of like, don't know what to say when I go on the air tonight. But the fact is now it's true. The news is true that Jerry Lee Lewis passed away. It's true now. And you can't blame me for being confused about it. You know, after the beginning, when it was released by TMZ, and then they retracted it, and then they brought out another piece of news allegedly saying that someone else died. You know, Chuck Norris, he was supposed to have died. Chuck Norris, you know, he's the martial art artist. He's also an actor. He plays on Texas Walker Ranger, or whatever it is, Texas Ranger Walker, or whatever it is, right? And that wasn't true as well, you know. So yes, the point is now Jerry Lee Lewis did pass away at the age initially when they said 87 years old. And it's ironic because he celebrated like a month prior. He celebrated his 87-year-old birthday a month prior. And here we are, you know, here we are. So it was really hard to get. I didn't know how I was going to approach it. And I don't know if I approached it even right tonight. I don't even know. I just was trying to find the words to it. But yes, the news is true that he passed away. Now, I don't want to hear any more that, that was false news too, you know. And I'm just wondering how the news got out in the first place if it weren't true. And then now it's finally true. And it's kind of scary. It's coincidental. I don't know. Anyway, he did pass away. And so our blessings and our thoughts go out to the Jerry Lee Lewis family. I've been a supporter of his for many years, played his records, and I still support his music. You know, I'm not the disc jockey anymore. But, well, once a disc jockey, always a disc jockey, so they tell me. You know, I did play his records. And because I did that kind of a show, but he passed away, and may he rest in peace. Oh boy, there's so many stories. You know, it's just hard to tell these stories, which is, you know, they're grim. But here's something on the good news side, and I found out this before I went on the air. It was breaking news before I went on the air. Paul Pelosi, who you've already heard the story, they broke into his house, and that psycho broke into his house and attacked him, physically attacked him. He's lying in a pool of blood. Thank God, you know, he's out of the hospital now. He's out of the hospital and he's back home. You know, so the doctors gave him the okay that he could leave. He's back home, and hopefully that from here on, he will be okay. Now, when I went off the air last week, and I also mentioned that story, and I said that I'm not saying that it's true, that it could be political. I'm only saying that it's just kind of strange. And, you know, on the news, you know, they're saying, and I'm not going to even say it now that it was political, but it makes you think. It makes you wonder. It makes you wonder. Because think about it. When they had the insurrection and they broke into the Capitol building, who were they chanting? Get Nancy, get Nancy. We want Nancy, get Nancy. You know, they wanted to get Nancy. And not only did they want to get Nancy, they wanted to get Mike Pence as well. You know, and here we go. We get this information. Paul Pelosi gets attacked in his own home at 2 o'clock in the morning. Now, I'm confirming this now because of the fact that they did say when it was that late at night, it was 2 o'clock their time in San Francisco, California. So it was 2 o'clock their time when he got attacked. You know, isn't that frightening? And you can't even be safe in your own home. You know, isn't that frightening? You're in the dark, sleep, and all of a sudden you hear rumbles and someone breaks into your house and they're saying, "Where's Nancy?" He's talking about his wife. Where's Nancy? He was after Nancy. come on, that's the way it is. And if he's coming in and saying, "Where's Nancy?" That means he wanted to target Nancy, but Nancy wasn't there. But Paul was there, so he attacked Paul. Paul is lying in a pool of blood. Thank God, this guy is they have him. He was apprehended, early. They got him, and they're trying to figure out whether or not he's even from this country. So all of these things are going around, and the thing that bothers me too. I don't want to linger on it too much, but the thing that bothers me too is that everybody says, let's say, for instance, if this happened, let's say, for instance, it happened to a Republican, right? People will come out and say, "Hey, you know something? I'm going to call her. I'm going to call him and wish them well. This should have never happened to you. We are sorry this happened. And we're going to pray for you," or something like that, right? But you don't hear on the other side of the coin when Paul Pelosi got attacked. You never heard anything like that, So I don't care whether you're a Republican or you're Democrat. If something happens to you, and if I know you, I'm gonna reach out to you and say, "Hey, you know what? I'm sorry to hear about this. If there's anything I can do to help or get you through this or help you with this, let me know." We don't necessarily agree politically, but that's not the point. The point is that this is you're an American, I'm an American, and we should help each other. That's what America is to me, And because when I look at you, I don't look at you as a Republican. I don't look at you as a Democrat or an independent or any other party that you may engage in or may be part of. I don't look at you that way. I look at you as an American citizen who hopefully you'll like me as well, and we can get together and we can fight to keep the country alive and keep all the trash out. We'll see. That's why I always say, you got to get out there and vote. That's the important thing. So there you go. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, again, here we are. Frank Allen here with you, coming to you live from New York City. And the name of the show is called Talk Back Live. We're talking back live to you. And we are hoping that you're enjoying so far. And if you don't get a chance to see or talk to people here, you could always do it next week. We got maybe about 7 minutes more before the show is over. And let's see. So Brian says he's Canadian. Brian says that this man that attacked Paul Pelosi is Canadian. And so he might be exported back to where he came from. Now, I love Canadians, just like I love any kind of other people in different countries, right? So what is he? Did he come out of Canada just to do this? He came out of Canada just to do this. So Brian is saying that he's Canadian. Okay, so that means he came out of Canada, unless of course he is an American citizen from Canada. I don't know. Have to look more into it. But he's Canadian. That doesn't mean he's not of this country. But they were questioning whether or not he actually come from the United States. We'll have to check that out. I'll have to research more on that. We'll see what happens. Okay, we got those movies for you. Those Turner Classic movies. Now, each week I come to you and I love to do this. I like to be part of your weekend because a lot of you like to catch up on old movies. And so what I do is that I give you my picks of the week of the movies that I think that are worth watching, that you should check out. They're good movies, and they're classic movies, some black and white, some go back a long way, some a little more current, but they become classic, and some become classics, and they have to be run a while, and they have to be very good before they become classics. But anyway, I have these for you. And so if you're in the mood of watching movies for the weekend, and so let me give you my picks of the week. Let's start off from 1932. Let's start off with that. Remember The Mummy. The Mummy, this is the classic. This is the original Mummy. I'm talking about the one from 1932, The Mummy, starring Boris Karloff, who, by the way, was the original Frankenstein, too. Maybe he wasn't the original Frankenstein. I don't know. Anyway, Boris Karloff, he stars in this movie, The Mummy. He's the mummy himself. And that's on Turner Classic Movies. You can check that out. That's Friday. That's tomorrow night at 10 p.m. Eastern. And so there's a horror flick for you. Now, a lot of you like horror flicks. That's a good one for you. You know, I didn't like horrors when I was a little kid. I was afraid of them. But I learned from my mother to deal with them, because my mother used to say the best time to watch horror flicks is, you know, while the lights are out, and if it's thundering and lightning, that's good ambiance. It's true. Okay, coming up too, here's another one, another classic, and this is the original one from 1934, Imitation of Life. And this stars Claudette Colbert and Louise Beaver. This is the original one from 1934, and it's on Turner Classic Movies. It's on Saturday at 10 p.m. Eastern. Saturday night, 10 p.m. Eastern. Now, you know, you have two imitations of life. The one I grew up with was the one from 1959. That was with Lana Turner. And that was a hard, touching movie. It touches you. Now this one, you can watch this, and then later on, when it comes on again, the remake comes on again, you could decide which one you like better. All right. And I'm not going to say which one I like better, but they were both good, but you know, check it out. But anyway, that's Imitation of Life. That's on Saturday at 10 p.m. Eastern. And finally, here's another one. You like this one. Some Like It Hot from 1959, starring Tony Curtis, Jack Lemmon, and Marilyn Monroe. That's on Turner Classic Movies. The only thing I'm going to tell you about this movie is that Tony Curtis and Jack Lemmon, they dress in drag. You know, who's going to get the girl? Marilyn Monroe's the girl. They want to hang out with Marilyn Monroe, and they dress in drag to get next to her. Anyway, that's on Sunday at 5:45 p.m. Eastern. All the times I give you is always Eastern, right? That's Some Like It Hot. Now, just because I gave you these, that doesn't mean that's the end of Turner Classic Movies. You can go to Turner Classic Movies and go right through the program guide and find more movies that may tickle your fancy. And you can check it out and you can see, okay, he didn't mention that, but I think I like this movie. I want to check it out. And I'm going to put that on my bucket list. And if you can't watch all of these movies in real time, you can always DVR them and watch them at your very convenience. You can do that. You can also check out Movie on Demand. You can see the free movies there. They have a lot of great movies too that you can date back to from the 1930s and so forth and so on. Movies that you haven't seen in a long time. Movies that you've probably seen a million times and not get tired of. All you have to do is go down the list and check it out. Great movies, you know. And of course, if you like to watch the current movies, the movies of today is also a Movie on Demand, but they're called pay-per-view. You can watch them. And what does it cost you? $6-7 for each movie. You could watch those. If you don't like the ambiance of a movie theater, you can watch those as pay-per-view movies and have all the latest ones. And then the networks, you know, you like Lifetime movies, check out what's happening with the Lifetime movies. And of course, you could also see sporting events. And if you don't get to see that in real time, or if you miss anything, you could always go back and watch it on demand. And for the most part, you see them without the commercials. So there you have it. A lot of things to do. A lot of time you can entertain yourself a lot. So let me go over these movies once again. The Mummy with Boris Karloff, Turner Classic Movies, Friday at 10 p.m. Eastern. You have Imitation of Life, the original version from 1934, and that's at that's Saturday at 10 p.m. Eastern on Turner Classic Movie. And finally, Some Like It Hot with Tony Curtis, Jack Lemmon, and Marilyn Monroe. That's Saturday at 5:45 p.m. I hope you get a chance to watch them. And again, you could always DVR them and watch them at another time. That's going to wrap it up for me, ladies and gentlemen. I thank you so much for being along with us. I want you to meet me back here tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. with the coffee hour. Brian Kemp will be here with the latest developments in today's world of sports on Sports Update. His first part of the 2020 feature. The second part of the 2020 feature, DJ Pete will be here with entertainment news and reciting all of those birthdays of people of notoriety and all kinds of other things. And it's you and I in conversation. Other than that, I'll be back here next Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern for more Talk Back Live. Brian Camp, of course, with sports and conversations with you and I and everybody else. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for being along with us. Make sure you have a great morning, a good afternoon, good evening, and above all, a good night. And I will see you next time. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.
You've been watching Talk Back Live with your host, Frank Allan. The producer is Al Dale. Technical assistant, Dave Taylor. Research by Sandy Pierce. And I'm your announcer, Donna Stenke. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time on Talk Back Live.